up, everybody? Welcome to the Start Today podcast. I'm your host, Chris Cavallini. I hope you're well, and I hope everyone who's important to you is healthy and staying strong. But today, guys, we're going to get right into it because I have something that I want to talk about. All right, I got something that I need to get off my chest, and out of respect for your time and my own, I'm just going to get right to the point. 77,212 dead. All right. That's the death count in the US from the coronavirus pandemic at this time when I'm recording this, which is May 8th, 2020. And you're hearing about it. It's on every station. It's on the front page of all the papers. And you can't search the internet for more than 20 seconds without coming across something or someone talking about it. But there's another pandemic that's going to happen this year in the United States. One whose body count will more than likely be a minimum of 3 times greater than the current pandemic. This pandemic, unfortunately, it's been around for years, and it's arguably the most deadly pandemic, meaning it's killed more people than any other pandemic in the history of the world. It's killed millions of people in the United States over the last decade and over 300,000 people last year alone. It's going on right now. It's all around us, hidden in plain sight. And this year, it's going to kill more people than it ever has. And if history continues to repeat itself, which that's typically what history does, that body count, it's only going to continue to rise year over year. I'm talking about the obesity epidemic, right? What is a pandemic, right? Like we're hearing this word, it's being thrown around so much, but what is a pandemic? Well, the definition of pandemic is a disease that's prevalent over an entire country or the world. So how could something so deadly and preventable, mind you, just be brushed under the rug? Okay, why isn't this being talked about in the mainstream media? I mean, right now we're shutting businesses down, quarantining people. There's all kinds of stay-at-home orders in place for this new pandemic. So why doesn't the government just order people who are literally eating themselves to death to have their jaws wired shut? Well, that's because the obesity epidemic is big business. How big a business? $190 billion a year big business. All right, I'm just going to come out and say it, guys. And, some people might not like this. These are the type of things that people don't talk about. These are the type of things a lot of people simply aren't aware of. But I have an obligation to inform people, to keep people well informed and through that information and education, help them. In this country, okay, well, this country, like all other countries around the world, we depend on revenue, money, cold, hard cash to operate, thrive, and to solidify our place in the dominance hierarchy. All right, the United States, we're the most powerful country in the world. That's a fact. But if we don't have a strong economy that brings in consistent revenue, we lose that power and our standing within that hierarchy. Quite frankly, our government heavily relies on the money that disease, sickness, and obesity drives in. Okay, it's a business that, business is good. Year after year, those numbers are going up. Okay, this is just how the world works, people. Okay, the government, in their defense, they're not forcing anyone to eat themselves in an early grave. Okay, all the information is out there to inform people of exactly what happens if you don't make your health your number one priority. All right, you probably heard it from your doctor. Everyone knows that if you eat like shit, you're going to look and feel like shit. And it's only a matter of time before you reach the point of no return. And because you've ate more than you need and put things in your body that shouldn't be there for so long, that those things ultimately manifest into disease. It's not the government or anyone else's responsibility to manage your life for you. Your life is just that. It's your life. Your life is your responsibility, and you have a responsibility to be fit and healthy. And so we're clear. Okay, I'm not talking about having six-pack abs or any of the shit that falls under the vanity side of the equation. All right, there's a place for that, and it's not here. Our bodies, our physical bodies, they're the vessel for our brains and all of our other vital organs and systems that support human life. Our physical fitness and health are critical to our existence. So if we don't take care of our bodies, if we're not exercising, nourishing them with high quality nutrition and getting enough rest, getting quality sleep, then our body isn't able to endure the demands that we're going to place on it or ever be able to actually do what it's capable of doing, right? You have a responsibility to be fit and strong, physically and mentally, so that you're able to rise up and confront the challenges that you're going to be faced with and take care of the people that you love all throughout your life. Okay, it's about self-respect. Okay, about valuing yourself ahead of so much of this bullshit that people prioritize over their own well-being. The Netflix, the fast food, laying around on the couch in the same sweats you've been rocking unwashed the last 10 days. Okay, the happy hours, the parties, the social gatherings, and all these other fucking distractions are going to be back in play real soon. That the universe strategically lays out to test your mentality, to test your willpower, to test your character, and to sort out who really wants it and who's just full of shit. And I have news for you guys. If you're not fit, if you're not healthy, you're not going to pass that fucking test. You see, most people never even think about their health until confronted with health issues. And when it comes to diet and exercise, the level of ignorance that I think is present in this country right now is astounding. I mean, but who cares, right? 3 out of 4 adults in the US are clinically categorized as either overweight or obese. So you look around and you see everyone else not giving a fuck. So who really gives a shit? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. It's like the mainstream is now conditioned to think that being fit is exclusively for people in the fitness industry, right? Models or I don't know what you want to do if you want to step your selfie game up on the internet. So because this is the association that, most have with healthy eating and exercise, they quickly categorize it as like an extra, right? Something that would be nice to do, but only if it's convenient, which that is probably, that is as profound of a self-sabotaging belief system as you'll ever find. And to that point, most people's concept of health and being healthy is either being sick or not sick. So in our minds, if we're not currently sick, we're healthy and life is good. Well, that's not how it works. Not even fucking close. Okay, my goal with this episode is to wake just one person up, just one single person, and it would be worth it. Okay, the time, the energy to put this message together, to broadcast it out in the world. I want to wake just one person up. Okay, I want to change the course of someone's life by helping them learn the importance of thinking for themselves. Because since kindergarten, right, we were told to do this, do things this way and that way, right? We ate what was given to us. We memorized the information that was forced upon us. And we were led to believe that, you got to take weekends off. Okay. The path that was laid out for us by our teachers, parents, and the rest of society that, would be needed to excel in life was basically you get really good grades in school so you can go to college. Then after college, you get a job in corporate America working for a good company, whatever the fuck that means. Okay. No mention of purpose, no mention of passion, no mention of legacy, and a good company, right? What's a good company? Well, most likely what people mean when they say a good company is one that's been around a while, because that means it's stable. And, we need stability. We need to prioritize stability over our own happiness and growth. That seems pretty reasonable. And then after you get that corporate job, then you get married, you have kids, and then you work, miserably until the age of 65, at which time you would have reached the golden years and hopefully be able to live off your pension. That, if you're lucky, will allow you to keep your head just slightly above water. Nobody talks about health, at least not in the way that they should, right? You'll never hear about mindset, limiting beliefs, the influence our environment plays on our cognitive development and how we think, to where if that's ever a fucking problem for a kid who, thinks he's going to be a loser his entire fucking life the way I used to, or, a kid who's fat as fuck with zero confidence or self-esteem, just like his parents who are feeding him McDonald's that he has no idea is what's causing him to be overweight and to feel like shit all the time. What's causing him to have other kids make fun of him and bully him. Okay. If we were at least given insights on these things in our early years, at least there could be some sort of attempt to do something about it before it's too late. But that's not the world we live in. Okay. Our life is our responsibility. So it is up to us to seek out a better way of doing things. It's up to us to see things for how they really are, not how the rest of society has portrayed them to be. Thinking for yourself is probably, it's probably the most valuable life skill that you can acquire, because it allows you to truly do so many other fucking things. Every decision that you make, no matter how big or small, has a direct impact on your life and will ultimately be part of your story. I don't know about you, but when it's all said and done and my physical vessel is decaying in the ground, I want to be proud of the stories that are told about the time that I spent on the planet. I want to be proud of the stories that are told by the next generation about me and the way that I chose to live my life. It's tough for me, guys. It's tough for me to not just want to scream sometimes at just the fuckery I witness with my own eyes in society, how misguided people are, how off track they are, but believe that they're actually on track. Okay, because I've experienced and just witnessed so many extraordinary transformations. I've been fortunate to be a part of just so many things. So I know how powerful this stuff is. It's like if you close your eyes and think about if you were in a simulation, a video game, right? And you were to think about your perfect avatar, what they would look and feel like, right? Not a completely different version of you, but like a perfect avatar of your current self, like kind of like in the Matrix. If you've seen the Matrix, what they look like in the real world versus what they look like when they're in the Matrix, right? That perfect form of you. Okay. Now, if you can see that in your mind, you have the ability to become that actual person and feel like that person all the time. Okay. Confidence, self-belief, just attitude, mindset. Okay. You can be that person all the time. If you can see it, you can make it happen. Right. And you can feel like that all the time, not just the little teaser feelings that you might get for the 2 or 3 seconds when, I just put you in that place. Like, fuck, I want that for you guys. God, I want that for you so bad. I get asked often, when I do interviews and stuff, that why do I care so much and spend so much energy trying to get through to people, trying to help people? Throughout time, my answer has changed. It has evolved. But the fact is, like, I feel that, we're all connected in some unusual way that just can't be explained. And another thing, okay, and I can't articulate to you how I know this, but I just do. I believe that the world would be a far kinder, cleaner, more compassionate, loving, positive, and just a better place if more people took the red pill and started taking control of their lives and living it on their terms. All right, I was given an opportunity to come into this world just like you, one without limitations, which has allowed me to create and continue to create the life of my choosing. You and I were gifted tools and abilities, okay, the tools and abilities that are needed to be healthy, mind and body, okay, so that we would be able to leave the world a better place than how we found it. But it is absolutely up to us to put those tools to use, because whoever or whatever just gave me this opportunity, man, like I owe them. We owe them. And you know what else? You know who else you owe? You owe it to your parents. All right. Your parents that brought you into this world. Now, some of you have parents who would legitimately, if given the chance, give their life for yours, no question. All right. Maybe your parents weren't perfect. Maybe they were the furthest thing from, but I would bet that they did the best they could. Okay. Even if they always seemed to fall short. Regardless, without them, there would be no you. So no matter how close you are or are not with your parents, just think of how proud that they would be to see you healthy, strong, and living your best life as a direct result. You owe it to your families, okay, whether bound by blood or not, because they've loved you, supported you, and lifted you up when life knocked you down. How will you repay them? By putting them in the position to suffer the emotional, financial, and physical burden that will ensue once you've developed cancer or any other obesity-related sickness that you selfishly brought on yourself? No, fuck that. They deserve better. They deserve better from you. Your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, or wife, let's talk about them for a second. All right. Do you think you owe it to them to be healthy? I would say they deserve the best version of you, nothing less, zero room for compromise. I mean, look, that's what they originally signed up for, right? Not some deteriorating, out of shape, lethargic downgrade who's constantly in a shitty mood because you feel like shit all the time. All right, think down the road after years of consuming food that is taking years off of your life, right? Fast food and finding every excuse possible not to exercise and just overall neglecting your health in general. All right. You go to a doctor and you get the news that because the decisions that you made as it relates to what you ate and the unhealthy lifestyle that you've lived for so many years, that now you're terminally ill. Think about your spouse's reaction. Think about what their reaction is going to be when you have to have that conversation, when you have to look them directly in their eye, destroy their heart, and break the news that you're not going to be around much longer. You're not going to be able to take care of them and be by their side the way that you promised you always would. What about your kids, grandkids, or just any kids for that matter? Do you feel currently that you have an obligation to them? Now, I know most people don't think about this, so you probably don't. But allow me to kind of lay out some perspective here. I personally don't see how you couldn't think that you have an obligation to your kids or just, again, any kids in the grand scope of things, because you are who they have to look up to. You are who they look up to. And whether you like it or not, okay? You're their real life superhero. That's just how it is, which means they're going to follow the example that you set for them. And they're going to do so believing that it's the right thing to do and in their own best interest. To add to this, okay, if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not healthy and you have kids, you're going to 100% pass along poor genetics and predispose them, put them at higher risk of obesity, disease, depression, low confidence, and just an overall like a shorter life expectancy. Not only is this negligence, okay, in my opinion, I also believe a strong argument could and should be made for it being child abuse. All right, what else? What's going on in the world right now? Oh, that's the frontline workers. All right. You owe it to the frontline workers out there right now. All right. The docs, the nurses, the physician assistants, first responders, law enforcement, and everyone else out there who's bringing the fight directly to the coronavirus, putting themselves and their families at risk every single day. Not to mention, okay, living in a constant state of just stress and uncertainty with this whole mess. You owe it to them because as the research is now showing, overweight and obese people are at a significantly higher risk of severe complications and death as a result of COVID-19. And hey, look, no huge surprise there. None at all. All right. But here's the thing. There are children and there are elderly who need the care and energy of the first responders, of the doctors and the nurses, okay? They need it a hell of a lot more than individuals between, I don't know, ages 25 to 55 who made the choice to destroy their own health and make themselves a significantly higher liability by not valuing and taking care of the one and only body that they were gifted coming into the world. Right now in this country, we have thousands, if not tens of thousands of men and women who, while serving in the military, all right, keeping us safe and taking care of the type of business that needs to be done, but 99% of you just don't have the stomach for. All right, while taking care of that business, they became paralyzed, disabled, right, lost legs or had their arms blown off in combat, putting them in a position where they are now physically unable to ever tuck their own children into bed at night or hold the hands of their wife. And it's pretty fucked up because I would bet anything that they'd give just about anything to be physically able to exercise just one more time. You owe it to them. And throughout history, hundreds of thousands of troops serving in the armed forces, all right, have paid the ultimate sacrifice, fighting to protect our freedom, fighting to keep us safe, and fighting to keep America the greatest nation in the entire fucking planet. Hundreds of thousands have died for you. Hundreds of thousands of mothers, daughters, fathers, sons, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, and close friends. They made a choice to stand and fight and inevitably gave their lives so that we would be able to go on and continue living ours. Listen, more than anything, you owe it to yourself. My biggest fear is that if people don't use this time, like right now, this period in history, to get really serious about being healthy, because look, it's basically thrown in our face all day, every day. If we're not going to do it now, then I'm afraid that so many are just going to become part of another horrifying statistic. The question that I have to ask is, if not now, then when? The time for change is right fucking here, right fucking now. Guys, at this point, I'm begging you, please start today.